All right, let's go down the street to my hometown, Nashville, and talk to Lexi. What's up, Lexi?
Hi, how's it going?
Rocking and rolling. What are you up to?
Good, nothing much. Just trying to calm my nerves about this call, but
Oh, you're all good. You're all good. What's up?
Okay, so I have a kind of description that I'm just going to read because this topic is even hard for me to kind of explain. So I hope that's okay. But
Of course.
I am a very anxious and I guess you could say paranoid person. I was diagnosed with postpartum depression around 4 months ago, but my doctor felt like the main cause of that was my sleeping habits. As long as I can remember, I've been scared of very irrational things. It's pretty embarrassing to admit honestly, since I'm an adult now. But I remember feeling this way as a child, and I feel like it got a lot worse in high school. But as an adult, I still struggle with this. It affects my everyday life. I can pinpoint certain characters that I've seen in TV shows or on the news that trigger me more than others. But mostly when I'm alone or when it's dark, my mind is pretty much convinced that the same episodes I've seen on these TV shows are going to happen to me, even though I know it's not real. So I don't sleep well because I'm super anxious. I have one eye open, and I just last night was up for hours with just super anxious and paranoid thoughts. So yeah,
Lexi,
I know that's a lot.
Well, I was going to say, welcome to my club. I am happy to have you as another charter member. You just described me about 12 years ago. So
that makes me feel good.
It is awesome to have you. It's so good.
Thank you. I really hope you can help because I've seen 3 or 4 therapists over the years, and nobody's ever been able to help me or even give me like sound advice that helps me get to the next step. So I'm like, I feel like if anybody could help, it would be you.
So, well, I appreciate that. What are some things that they have told you what are some attempts they have made in the past?
So I did, the first therapist I saw, I was in high school. My mom had just seen multiple episodes of me having pretty much panic attacks because I would get so scared of things that were clearly not real. So I went to a therapist, and his ideas were to, at the time, I was like scared of taking a shower when I was alone because I had seen a show where a serial killer killed girls in the shower. So I would not shower if nobody was home. So he just encouraged me to do that when no one was there and prove to myself that nothing was going to happen. And that didn't really help at all.
Okay.
And then as an adult, I've seen therapists, and they pretty much just tell me to change my thoughts or to pray. And as much as like I want that to help, it just hasn't done anything for me.
Oh man, hey, if you were here, I would ask, is it okay if I just hug you for a minute? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I'm really over it.
Yeah, I could see. So you're the guy you actually saw in high school was closer to the truth.
Okay.
Okay. Now, had I been working with a teenager, I would not have done it that way because it's pretty abrupt. What he was doing was the nerd word is exposure therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's take a snake. So let's say you have a phobia of a snake, and like you can't breathe, you don't sleep, like snakes, right?
Yeah.
What they'll do, especially with the youngsters, but even with adults, is they will start with you just sitting in the room, and I want you to imagine a snake. And we'll do that for and then we'll play a game, like just to cleanse your mental palate. And then, all right, you're gonna for 5 seconds, for 15 seconds, you're gonna picture a snake. And then it moves gradually towards you're gonna color a coloring book that I have here, which is like clearly children's cartoons of snakes. You're gonna color it. We're gonna do it together. And as an adult, you feel like this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. It's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But you color it. And what you're slowly doing over time, and you end up with the last session is he brings in a giant snake, or you'll go to the zoo and you hold a snake together. Because what you've done is you've gently over time taught your body, tiny step by tiny step, we're gonna be okay. Now, I want to suggest to you something totally different. That's what he was trying to do, and I actually think there would have been some help there back when you were a kid. But just basically what he did was, all right, just go to the zoo and hold a snake. You'll be fine. And your body was
pretty much.
No. So, yeah, he skipped a bunch of steps. But I want to ask you a different kind of question, okay?
Okay.
What if your body's right?
That's a good question.
Let me ask you this.
I guess
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound crazy. I don't think there's something wrong with Lexi.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think something's wrong with you. I want to at least sit for a minute with the idea that Lexi's body's working perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was the case, and we backed out 30,000 feet, and I was sitting right next to you, so we're all good.
Yeah.
What is Lexi scared of?
That's a good question. I've tried to think about this a few times, and it's like...
Let me say it differently. I asked it wrong.
Yeah.
What is Lexi's body trying to protect her from?
I really don't like the feeling of being scared. I think that's like a layer above where I guess you're probably trying to go, but I don't like the feeling of being scared is something I think I'm scared of.
Okay, absolutely.
And so, like, for example, last night I heard it was storming in Nashville. I'm sure you heard.
Oh, it was madhouse. My daughter ended up in our bed. Yeah, it was the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was loud. And I heard something. It ended up being our shutter fell off our house. But in the middle of the night, I heard the bang, and in my head I was like, okay, someone just came in our backyard. They're gonna come kill us. Like, my kids are gonna have to watch. I had these crazy thoughts spiraling throughout my head, and I like fully believed that was about to happen.
Okay.
And the feeling of like the anxiety and just like the waiting, I guess, is really what triggers me the most. Was like I couldn't relax because I just was like so sure something was coming. And I don't know.
I want to suggest something else.
Yeah.
That's a drug for Lexi.
Okay.
You get high off the flood of adrenaline and cortisol, and here it comes. It's showtime. It's game time now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have that in your real life, and maybe you grew up, you and I could sit down for an hour. And by the way, you're in Nashville. Come down and visit me in the studio. That'll be fun. We can hang out. But like,
yeah, for
you're like, yeah, for sure. Never gonna happen ever. So, if you grew up in a wild situation, in an unsafe home, your body put a GPS pin in these moments of, I'm free falling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And maybe you didn't. Maybe you grew up in a perfectly safe home and cool. But
No, I did.
Okay. So if you grew up in chaos or not?
In chaos.
Okay. So think of it this way. Your body put a GPS pin in at any moment this thing comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And it is simply all the time, 24/7, 365, your body is trying to take care of Lexi.
Yeah.
It's just trying to take care of you. And so it has put a bunch of GPS pins in darkness and in noise and in hovering, scary pictures. Do you have abuse in your background?
Not physically, but mental. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a pretty rough relationship with my dad, and there were quite a few episodes that happened as a child. My mom is convinced that that's what this is all rooted in.
Okay. But when somebody says like, oh, it's all rooted in this, what they're going to tell you is, so now that's not there, just get over it.
Yeah.
And what I want to tell you is it's baked into your nervous system. It's part of you. So your body is working great. The one freaking guy that was supposed to take care of, be the safe, warm place for his daughter, went to war with her.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you pull that image away and your brain goes searching for the next image to plop in there, and you just happen to sit down in front of a TV show where someone's getting hacked up in a shower.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's how it will happen.
Yeah.
And then eventually you have to take a shower. You have to. And you figure it out and figure it out and figure it out. And your body goes, all right, that's not it. It's going to be this. And it just keeps moving and moving and moving and moving.
Mm-hmm.
I would be stunned, and I never, ever, ever, ever do this on this show. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm not going to do it on the show. I want you to go talk to a counselor, and I want you to ask if they will give you an OCD diagnostic or an OCD analysis. Okay?
Okay.
I would be surprised if there's not some sort of the trend line between OCD and anxiety is very thin. But when I sat down with a doctor and walked through, and he was like, "Oh, dude, clearly." Right here, it gave me so much peace. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I almost included in my question. I'm not diagnosed with OCD, but I'm pretty sure that I
want you to go,
sort of it.
don't do a Google diagnostic because that is, ugh. But I do want you to go talk to somebody and say, hey, would you give me an inventory and see if this is what this is? Because it just moves. Because your doctor's right. Nothing in your body works if you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
How old's your baby?
I have a 1-year-old. She just turned 1, and then a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old stepson. So we have a busy house.
How dark can we get real quick?
Quick, whatever you think.
Did you have some looping, pretty awful thoughts?
Yeah, I did. And we also my daughter had really serious health issues last May, and she pretty much did die at the hospital, and they were able to save her, but that definitely spiraled me as well.
But hold on, you had some thoughts that you were concerned if somebody knew what was in your mind, they're going to take your kids, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you take those thoughts and you bury them in the deepest recesses of your soul, and you can't sleep, you can't breathe, and then your machine loops up again, and it goes in again, and it goes in again. And then, is your husband a pretty good guy?
He is, yeah. He actually is the one that told me about your show. Okay. I'm so thankful.
Well, he's grasping at a ghost because he loves you so much, he doesn't know how to reach you because you're so far inside of yourself.
Yeah.
But I need you to hear me say, you're not broken.
Thank you.
Do you trust me?
Yes, I trust you.
I know it's weird to think that your body's working just as it should. Here's what we have to do. It's, there's like, you ever been in the shower and it's facing in the door? And so you open the shower door and you turn on the shower and it shoots you right in the face and you're in your full clothes and you're like, "Wah!" Because it's just, all we need to do here is turn the nozzle the other way. Okay. Your body's working great. It has just identified darkness as the end of time. Mm-hmm. It has identified loud noises or scary thoughts as it's all over now. And it is not something that you can think or just quote unquote pray your way out of. It is a biochemical response. Your body dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your body. That's why you can't sleep. It has nothing to do with you being crazy. It has to do with your body is filled with fight or flight chemicals.
Yeah. I always say, I'm like, if I could run a marathon, it would be in the middle of the night.
Exactly. And you just lay in bed and you're like, all right, well, I'm just going to lay here. I'm going to lay here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then no matter how much you're just laying there at 6:14, can I have a snack? Can I have a snack? Right? It just starts up again.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Pretty much. That's how it goes.
You're not crazy.
That feels good to hear.
Okay? You're not crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to give you got a lot of work ahead of you. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay?
Okay.
I do think there's, I'm going to send you both of my books because I wrote them for you.
Okay.
A lot of people get a lot of benefit from them, but I wrote them for you because you and I have very similar situations. Okay?
That's helpful. Yeah, thank you.
I want you to know this, though. You're going to have to be willing to let this go as an identity.
Okay.
Not you're going to have to just force yourself into scary moments. You are going to have to do that, but that's down the road. What I'm saying is right now you have identified yourself as I'm an anxious parent, an anxious person, and I'm scared of being scared.
Yeah.
The problem is you wear that as a badge, as a label that you've put on your lapel.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want that crap gone. You're a awesome, badass mom and wife who grew up in hell and has done a pretty amazing job with 3 little ones of her own. That's who you are. You're not a scaredy whatever. Your body overreacts for sure. And you hear here's what I want you to do. Stop being afraid of your own body, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to start asking yourself, what are you trying to protect me from? That sentence changed my life. Because I'd put my hand on my chest and I'd say, what are you trying to protect me from? My things was the economy. Every time I looked at I saw a red ticker on the ticker tape, a little red arrow pointing down, my body boosh dropped into my stomach dropped. It was game time. It was fight or flight. Every time I got a bill in the mail, it would never stop. You can't live like that, right? But I started asking myself, what are you trying to protect me from? Oh, from the stock market? Of course it's going to crash. The people are crazy. And of course it's going to just keep coming back until it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it was this gentle, dude, my body's working awesome. It's just identified the wrong villain. But you have to decide to give up the identity that I'm crazy, because you're not.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it that way, but I definitely do when I think about who I am. That is at the top of the list. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm afraid of everything.
You're not. You're not. You're a little girl wondering what you did so badly. What was so bad about you that your dad treated you like that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tonight, I want you to write that 8-year-old girl a letter and say, "Dear 8-year-old Lexi, I freaking love you, and I'm holding you as tight as I can because that should not have happened to you. And if I'd been your mom, that wouldn't have happened."
I can do that.
Okay? You got to let that little girl go. And there might be a 10-year-old and there might be a 15-year-old, and as you write these letters, more crap's probably going to come up. But I want you to slowly sit with them, and I want you to make that a practice. I've got several letters written to myself over the years. Here's another. I want to give you this glimmer of hope before I let you go, okay? Because you and I could talk for hours just kind of piecing this thing together.
Yeah.
But I think more than a bunch of tasks that you could Google at the end of the day, I think I need you to hear me say you're not crazy. I need you to hear me last night. What happened? Okay? I've been sick. And so I was sleeping upstairs in our guest room, okay? It's right up, it's a converted attic, so it's right up against the ceiling. And last night, the storms were nuts.
Yeah, they were.
And I woke up, my heart was racing, the wind was just whipping, the rain was so hard. Bam, bam, I heard the trash cans flying around outside because I live out in the country. And I started laughing. I started laughing. And I thought, man, they are getting it out there.
Yeah.
And then I said, thank God we needed this rain bad. And I rolled over and I got an 87 on my sleep score last night, which is pretty high for me.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
Here's why I tell you that. I need you to believe me that healing is possible if you put this work in.
Okay.
You're going to have some time in the darkness, right? They're probably going to have you draw a picture of a dark room with a little kid in it. And if you want to do that with your husband, you all do it together, because don't do this by yourself. But y'all two draw a picture of, just for a week at nighttime. Just going to draw a picture of a little kid in a room that's dark. And when your body starts going, I want you to feel it. Put your hand on your chest and go, man, my body feels like there's somebody coming in this door right now. But I'm safe now. And then I want you to draw that picture on a nightly basis or an afternoon basis with your husband until your body doesn't take off on you anymore.
Okay.
And then, right, it's just going to keep ramping up and ramping up until you can't freaking wait for the darkness. And by the way, every once in a while, I go into the house and I'm like, something doesn't feel right in here. I don't. It's just trying to take care of me again. It's fine. I'm not going to war with my body anymore.
Gosh, that would be a great feeling.
Would that be awesome? Okay, can you undeclare war against Lexi starting today? That doesn't mean anything's going to be better tomorrow. You're still going to have trouble sleeping tonight, all that. Let's undeclare war from Lexi tonight, and I want you to put a journal by your bed. Someone's already told you this. Every irrational, wild thought, I want you to write it down.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, I heard the shutter blow off. Someone's in the backyard. We're all going to die. Write that down. Get out of your body and onto a piece of paper.
Okay.
Okay? Will you do that?
Yes, I can do that.
All right.
That seems like a tangible step.
Will you and your husband come over and get some free coffee and hang out?
Yes, he would love that. We actually saw you one night at Five Guys. And my husband was like, that's John Delony. I had no clue who you were at the time. And I'm like, who the heck is John Delony? He was like fangirling. And then he ended up showing me your show, and I've listened ever since. But he would,
y'all come up here, tell him you were on the show, and that we're gonna hang out, and then it'll be awesome. Okay.
Okay.
And
awesome. Thank you.
if you come visit me in person, I'll give you a couple of names of some local people that I trust that I think would be worth seeing.
That would be amazing. I was going to ask if you could do that.
Is that cool?
Thank you. Yes.
All right, hang on the line. I'm going to hook you up with those free books, and we'll get them shipped out to you. And I hope to see you guys in the studio soon.